Okay, so we start the movie and there's something flashing on the screen. It's an incoming communication. I'm gonna call it an incoming transmission, sounds more normal. And it's coming from Earth and it's going to the scout ship called Dark Star. And then this guy shows up on the screen and he's talking to the crew of the Dark Star. And he's talking about this and that and this and that, and he's sorry to hear about their radiation leak, and he's sorry to hear about the death of Commander Powell and blah 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 blah. So this guy's not really doing all that much, so let's just get in the fuck out of here. So then we cut to a shot of space and we see a couple of shots of the ship Dark Star going through space. Now, this may look shitty, but you need to realise that this is technically a student film. And some producer of Hollywood was like, I'm gonna pick this up for release. So what was technically the most professional looking student film ever made ended up becoming the worst looking professional film ever made. So don't be giving the special effects a hard time, because technically being a student film, these effects are tits. So we cut inside the ship and there's the crew and they're flipping a bunch of switches. And the bottom of the ship opens and out comes this huge fucking bomb named Bomb Number 19. Basically, the crew of the Dark Star, it's their job to find unstable planets and blow them the fuck up. But not only that, the bombs talk. That's one of the greatest things about this movie, is that the bombs can talk. And here's a conversation between Pinback and Bomb Number 19.
Sergeant Pinback calling Bomb Number 19. Do you read me, Bomb?
Bomb Number 19 to Sergeant Pinback. I read you. Continue.
Let's synchronize detonation time. You wouldn't happen to know when you're supposed to go off, would you?
Detonation in 6 minutes, 20 seconds.
All right, that checks out here. Arm yourself, Bomb.
Armed?
Well, then, everything sounds fine. Dropping you off in about 35 seconds. Good luck.
Thanks.
Oh my god, Bomb Number 19's voice is fucking awesome. Okay, so the crew drop the bomb, they hit hyperspace, they get to a safe distance, they stop, and the fucking planet explodes. So after another successful exploding planet mission, they're looking for the next one to blow up. And Pinback turns to Doolittle and he says, hey, what are we gonna name the planet? And Doolittle's just like, fuck it, who cares? And then Pinback gets all butthurt and he's like, Commander Powell would have named it. So Pinback throws a wobbly, they turn on the music, and then the title comes up. So after the opening credits, Doolittle is recording a log about what's been going on lately, with exciting news such as the seat where Commander Powell died is bothering Pinback because he sits next to it, and that an explosion has destroyed the ship's entire supply of toilet paper. So later on, while the crew's relaxing and getting their funk on, the ship's computer is calling for attention because the ship's approaching an asteroid storm and the crew have got to get the shields up. So they're rushing around, flipping all these switches to get the shield on. Ship starts going through the asteroid storm. So they start passing through the storm thinking that there isn't going to be a problem, but there is one. The storm hits part of the ship and it causes communications laser 17 to malfunction. And this causes the bomb bay to open and out drops Bomb Number 20. So the creepy fucking computer says, hey, Bomb Number 20, return to the bomb bay. And Bomb Number 20 is like, yeah, but I received the operational signal. And the computer's like, listen here, you little shit, we're in a critical situation. You didn't receive the order, return to the bomb bay. So the bomb returns to the bay and then they pass through the storm. And then the computer tells the crew that there's a malfunction, but doesn't know where. So the crew, Boiler, Pinback and Doolittle, are going to go to their sleeping quarters. Well, it's not really their sleeping quarters. Boiler says that the last time they passed through a storm, he was getting a sandwich and he heard the sleeping quarters blow up. Effectively, they've just changed the food storage locker into their sleeping quarters. And Pinback's like, well, why don't we just fix up the sleeping quarters? And the other two are like, fuck off, Pinback! So they get inside. Doolittle's playing cards, Boiler's smoking a cigar, and Pinback decides to wind them up. And Doolittle has enough of Pinback's shit and he just leaves. So Doolittle decides to visit the other crew member, Talby, and brings him some food. Talby pretty much just stays up in the observation area just watching the universe go by. He's a pretty lonely dude. And Doolittle's like, hey man, you should eat with the rest of us more often. And Talby says he doesn't like being in the ship since the death of Commander Powell. Plus he doesn't want to miss the Phoenix asteroids, which is like the most beautiful thing ever. And Doolittle says that when he's on his own, he thinks about his time back on Earth when he was a surfer. So back in the ship, Pinback's getting a tan. And Boiler's like, pay no attention to me, I'm just pulling this big fucking metal plate along. Turns out it's the lid to the heating unit. So he props it up, walks off, comes back with a gun and starts shooting the plate. And Pinback's like, hey man, you're not meant to have that out. And Boiler's like, mate, do I give a fuck what you think? Until Pinback's like, yeah, well, I'll tell Doolittle. But he doesn't get a chance to do that because the computer's like, hey, Pinback, it's your turn to feed the alien. So he goes off to feed the alien and don't expect anything grand and majestic and glorious. The alien is a beach ball with monster feet. Actually, it's kind of cute looking. So Pinback gives it something to eat. I don't know, it looks like a rock. And the alien's like, yeah, fuck this, and starts attacking Pinback and then gets out of the room. And it starts leading Pinback on a chase through the ship. Little bit of trivia for you. Pinback is played by Dan O'Bannon, and Dan O'Bannon went on to write Alien. So effectively, Alien is a super scary version of Dark Star. So anyway, Pinback's giving chase after the alien. He's like, I've got a broom, I'm gonna fuck you up. So Pinback and the alien end up in the elevator shaft. And then the computer's like, hey, warning, elevator shaft's in in use, leave the area. So Pinback inches over and starts kicking the alien like, get the fuck out of the way, and the alien starts attacking him. Either there or he's trying to suck him off. And due to the alien attacking him, eventually Pinback trips and he's hanging onto the ledge. And the elevator starts slowly coming down and it gets to the point where it's going to crush him, so he grabs onto the bar and he's hanging onto the bottom of the elevator. So the alien fucks off and it continues going through the rest of the ship, and it ends up in the same room with the malfunctioning communications laser. So the alien's dicking around with the laser, it shorts out and it stuns the alien. So this causes another malfunction and bomb number 20 leaves the bay again. So the computer and the bomb have another argument, the computer saying he's in error, but the bomb saying no, I got the operational signal. The computer wins out and the bomb says he'll go back to the bay, but it's the last time he'll do it. Meanwhile, Pinback's managed to get inside the elevator, kind of, but he's stuck. So he flips a switch and that detonates the explosive charges on the floor panel. But it does mean he can get into the elevator. But now Pinback's fucking pissed. So he gets a gun, finds the alien, and fucking shoots it. No, man, no, the fucking alien, that's my favourite character! So Pinback meets up with Doolittle and Boiler and they're having some lunch. Meanwhile, Talby received a message about the communications laser malfunctioning, so he's going to go and investigate that. Back with Pinback, Boiler and Doolittle, Pinback's telling him a story about how he ended up on the ship and it is a complete accident. But those two dudes ain't fucking listening to him at all. Realising that those two dudes ain't paying attention to him, Pinback goes off and he goes to the log room to look at some of the previous logs he's recorded. In one of the logs he says that his real name isn't Pinback but it's Bill Frug, and that Pinback's clothes don't fit him. Another one of him in shock because of Commander Powell's death. One of him angry at the other crew because he's the only sensible one on board and he should be in charge. One of them I have no fucking clue what he's doing, but he's swearing and doing gestures which are getting deleted from it. And one of him butthurt because Doolittle treats him like an idiot and Boiler punches him when nobody else is looking. And he records a new one saying that the crew have no morale at all and that it was his birthday and nobody wished him happy birthday. Back with Talby, he's putting on a star suit because he needs to go into the airlock where the communications laser is. And Darkstar arrives at another planet which they're gonna fucking blow up. And they officially now drop bomb number 20 out of the bay. Talby contacts the bridge to let them know he's found the malfunctioning communications laser, but they're just like, yeah, fuck it, leave it alone, man, whatever. They want to get the bomb dropped, so Talby's just like, fuck it, I'ma fix it. So Pinback arms the bomb and it's got 20 minutes before it detonates. So Talby tries to fix the laser, and as he's doing it, there's a little explosion, it blinds him and he stumbles into the way of the laser. And because he stumbled in front of the laser, it causes a huge fuck up and the detonator charge to release the bomb explodes, but the bomb doesn't release. So the crew are getting ready to drop the bomb, but when they flip the switch, the bomb isn't releasing. So they try it again, nothing happens, try it again, nothing happens. They're fucked. And because the bomb's armed, they're running out of time. And Talby's unconscious in the airlock. They consult the computer, but there's nothing the computer can do. So Doolittle goes and consults Commander Powell. They still have his body in the ship and he's technically dead, but they've frozen him and he's still got brain activity. So Doolittle explains the situation of what's happening and Commander Powell says, why don't you try talking with the bomb? So Doolittle puts on a star suit, goes outside of the ship, he goes up to the bomb and he starts talking to it. So Doolittle asks it, how do you know you exist? And the bomb says, well, I think, therefore I am. And Doolittle says, all right, that's good, but how do you know that anything else exists? And the bomb says, well, I've got sensory apparatuses. And Doolittle's like, aha, but how do you know that your sensory apparatuses are telling you that everything is correct? Back inside the ship, Boiler's like, fuck me, I've got a great idea, we'll shoot the pins out. And Pinback's like, no man, no, fucking Doolittle's talking to the bomb and it's too dangerous to shoot the pins out, and they start having a girly slapping fight. So back with Doolittle, he says, right, what's your one purpose in life? And the bomb's like, well, to explode. And Doolittle says, yeah, but you can only do it once. And he says that the bomb wouldn't want to detonate on the basis of false data. And the bomb's like, well, no. So Doolittle says, right, you've just admitted that you have no real proof about the existence of the outside universe, and that the bomb has no real proof that Sergeant Pinback ordered him to detonate, and that if he detonates, he's doing it on the process of false data. And the bomb says, I have no proof it was false data. And Doolittle says, you have no proof it was correct data. And the bomb just goes, all right, I need to think about this, and goes back into the bomb bay. So Darkstar is saved and Doolittle's going to head back into the ship. So Doolittle orders them to open up the emergency airlock, and Talby was in there and he gets blown out of the fucking ship. So Doolittle goes on a rescue mission because Talby hasn't got a jetpack. So Pinback radios into bomb number 20 telling it to receive new orders, and bomb number 20 says, you're false data, I'm going to ignore you. Bomb number 20 starts getting really biblical, and then the bomb says the 4 magic words.
Let there be light.
and Darkstar blows up. The force of the explosion is so bad that it knocks Talby and Doolittle away from each other. So Doolittle's jetpack is busted and they're drifting away from each other. Doolittle's being pulled into a planet's gravitational field, and the Phoenix asteroids arrive and they take Talby away. And a piece of the ship's debris floats alongside Doolittle, so he gets on top of it and he surfs down to the planet. He went out in style, and that was pretty much Darkstar.
Talby, can you read me?